Hi, it's Ileana, and today I'm going to discuss the topic of the various ET space fleets and the Federations. There's a lot of information going around that these galactic fleets with positive ETs are here to save us, that they've cleared Mars, they've cleared Antarctica of everybody, the Nazis, the dark grays, the reptilians. Nothing is as it ever seems. We still have pockets of these beings on the planet. Not so much centered in Antarctica anymore, but they're still in other remote places on Earth. So, again, discernment is needed. And these fleets, confederations, federations, galactic federations around Jupiter that are massing around Jupiter. One source is calling them the Andromeda Syndicate, that they're not positives. Others are saying they're from the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Confederation. So there's a lot of information going around, and this information is actually midline. Both sides are not right or wrong specifically. So, and all of these ETs, whether Galactic Federation of Worlds or Confederation, they all have their agendas, or councils, or the Andromeda Council. They all have their agendas, and they want something from those that are part of these councils, federations, confederations. They always want something, even if they're positive and benevolent, and once you join, they protect your planet. They still want you to follow the Prime Directive, not to interfere with other beings, not to interfere with soul evolution, and they have a lot of their own rules and laws that you have to follow, whether before you even become part of the confederations, the federations, they outline their prime directives. And there's more than one prime directive because there's more than one council, there's more than one federation or galactic federation. There's many of them. We know about the Andromeda Council, we know about the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and we know that there's a confederation. So these guys, again, they all have their rules and laws. It's not as easy as you think. You just join up and you're liberated and you're free. No, you actually have to follow a set of rules and laws if you're part of their councils or federations. So they outline clearly what their rules are and the laws and what you would need to abide by if you were to become a member of their confederations, federations, or councils. Clear rules. Prime directive or prime directives, one of them, don't interfere with other civilizations, no warring, no greed, no anything, and always peaceful, be considerate of others. There's a lot of rules, and they do a lot of talking and negotiating, and they do a lot of gatherings. And that takes time, it takes organization, and it takes effort on their part. So when you have thousands of different species that are part of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the confederations, the councils, like they have thousands of members from what I've discovered according to the cosmic history. So, and these groups, they work behind the scenes to make sure that there's no war in the galaxies, that there's no time dilation distortions, no misuse of time travel technology, no warping of realities and timelines. They have military installations on Jupiter, Galactic Command, from my remote viewings, they have secret military installations. So, and the Galactic Federation of Worlds has huge fleets of different ships, different types. And the reptilians have huge armadas. They have the Dreadnought destroyer class ships with plasma cannons that are planetary destroyers. So the Galactic Federation of Worlds is going up against a lot with the reptilians to make sure they don't invade us. Full-on invasion, open source, that they don't invade us in our solar system. But things are done behind the scenes, very quietly, very stealthily, and anything that is reported to us through emissaries, that's just a small version of reality. Very small version of reality. And nothing is as it really seems. There's a lot more going on. So the information of Andromeda syndicates or Orion syndicates, that actually, there are syndicates like that. The Orion group, the Andromeda syndicates, there are groups like that. Those are the dark forces. The Orion Greys, the Reptilians, they have syndicates. In the Orion system, there's pockets of syndicates in the Andromeda system as well. Those types of groups are real. So what that other source is saying, be wary of what you hear about space fleets and everything being just positive and hunky-dory. Part of that message is actually true. We can't expect that all of those fleets are always benevolent and positive. We don't really know because we're not going up there and we're not interacting with them. We're just hearing secondhand information from all these sources. So secondhand information needs to be carefully discerned, researched to find what parts of this actually make sense and what doesn't. So I listen to many sides of the spectrums of the sources, and I use my research skills and psychic ability to discern what parts of these messages coming through from these SSP insiders, whistleblowers, Galactic Federation of World, emissaries, Andromeda Council representatives, what are they saying? What are they really saying? And does it make sense or not? So the part about the Andromeda syndicates, the Orion syndicates, yes, there's moving parts. There's dark beings, reptilians, Draco, Greys, the Matri, the Dries. There's so many of these negative sources that are still in existence, still manipulating things behind the scenes on Earth and other planets. So it's not all like Mars hasn't been fully liberated. Earth hasn't been fully liberated. We're just in the beginning aspect of chaos transformation, in a transformation cycle to end this. We're just in the beginning of it. Things are being cleaned up, yes, but that takes time and resources from all these councils, federations, confederations. Yes, they might be benevolent, but they have their own agendas. So if you join them, you're supposed to follow their rules. And if you don't follow the rules and you're not cooperative, they may remove you from their groups because you're not playing along with what they think is good. So again, things are not exactly as they seem. And there's it's not quite so clear cut and black and white as people think. There's midlines and some gray areas here in the information conveyed from all sides and sources. So I am very neutral. I listen, I observe, and I carefully disseminate the information for what's real and what's not, or something in between. I listen carefully and I discern. Use my discernment skills foremost. Because again, I'm an experiencer, I'm a researcher, I'm a psychic, I'm a remote viewer. So I have all spectrums of experiences in this stuff, and I deal with extraterrestrials. So I still communicate with extraterrestrials, and I can look up the SSP stuff to see what's going on there as well. So I just wanted to talk about that and just say discernment is important, because there's a lot of information coming in from all sides, and it's important to know what's what these days and what is it all about. And we can discern the truth if we listen carefully and pick out what's truth, what's disinfo, and what's in between. Because again, there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation, but there's also bits and pockets of truth mixed in with that. So it's up to us to see what's in that information and determine what's real, what's not, and what's in between again. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today. So thank you very much, and namaste.